Hey guys, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own mods for rounds. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to decide, well, do I want a map mod or do I want a card mod? If you want a map mod, go to the description of this video. I'll have a link there to my video on how to make maps and how to publish that and make that mod entirely. If you want a card mod, that's what this video is for. So let's get right into it. Of course, you're going to need Thunderstore right away. So and of course rounds on Steam. If you don't have those, I mean, you can download them. If you don't know how to download them, I suggest you go to another YouTube video. I mean, it's pretty simple. You just Google Thunderstore, download it, install it, and then you just select the game rounds. I mean, there are a few nuances to it, like you have to go to your settings and set up a few things. I mean, like you have to change the directory to your rounds executable file. For the most part, it's pretty simple. And then after you have Thunderstore downloaded, you're gonna actually want to launch modded rounds. But I suggest you get, these mods I have here first, not this one or this one. You don't need these. This is the mod that I'm making, that I'm testing. This is another mod I just had for reference. But yeah, 0G Bullet, Passion for Holic, Block Force, blah blah blah, all this stuff. It's very useful utility stuff. So then you just go to Start Modded here. And after you launch it, you're going to want to go to Round Discord. You will need a Discord account, but it's so useful to be in their Discord. Their Discord is, well, I already have it. The Discord is extremely useful. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to want to go down to modding the FAQ. Quit round 2. It's really loud. So modding dev FAQ, and then you can use this right here. I'll have a link to the description to it, as well as for making card art. This one right here. And then if you ever do have any questions, people always help you out in here. Try not to bug them too much, but yeah, if you're really stuck, they can help you. But if you don't have C# knowledge or any past experience, you can still do this. You just won't be able to make really complicated things, like things with mono behaviors, I assume. But you'll still be able to do like basic stat changes and basically things that I've been able to do, because I've very little past C# knowledge. I only made mods for Terraria, and that was forever ago. So yeah, you don't even really need it, to be honest. It just don't harass people in the Discord because you don't know C#, essentially. So now that you have that document open, you don't need to worry about the card art for now. But you're just gonna want to follow the document's guide here. Actually, let me pull it up real quick. I forgot to pull it up, so let me go grab that. There we go. Okay, right here. So yeah. If you don't, it's assumed that you have basic knowledge of C# to be able to do, the more complicated things. So first thing you're gonna want to do is, well, actually, yeah, this is a good reference. If you're ever stuck on this document, you can always just open that and see what they did. And you'll be like, oh, okay, because this doesn't have pictures for every step. So you're gonna need to download a GitHub desktop, and then download DNSpy. DNSpy, here. I know sometimes people will have difficulty downloading from GitHub, so yeah, let me switch to here, and then you can just, where is it? This repository has been archived by the owner. Now it's read only. Huh. That actually wasn't it a second ago. I downloaded this like 2 weeks ago when I started making mods. Huh. Okay, well, you're gonna have to download it. I guess you can just download, I can just search DNSpy. Well, no, you can just, you download DNSpy 164. That's it. Okay, never mind, it was that way, I forgot. So DNSpy, since it's archived, you just click on the version that you want, and then you just download it and install it. Then after that, what is it? You find game assembly. Okay, so yeah, so in DNSpy, let me pull it up real quick. I have everything in one folder here. So download GitHub desktop to a specific folder, okay, and then download DNSpy and throw it in there, And then you're getting Visual Studio, just compile it, just do everything in the same folder. That's what I do. And Bud's cards right here. And then I have like all the extra stuff out here. So DNSpy, you can just pull it up right here. This is what DNSpy should look like. You just run the executable and it'll work. Give me a moment. Alright, cool. So you just do File, Open, and then you go to your rounds folder in Steam. Steam's either in your program files or program files 86, something like that. I have it installed in a specific location. So you go to your Steam apps, comment, rounds, data, and then manage, and then assembly C# should be right here. So you can just open that up, and once you open that up, you'll have this thing right here in DNSpy. You can open it up, and then open up this one right here, this empty one. This has everything in it. So you can always just use this as a reference for when you're coding. Like, let's say I'm coding the card and I don't know how to make it, so there's less block time. Or yeah, blocking takes less time or whatever. So what I can do is I can just go here, go to block, and then I can just go into it and then search like cooldown, right? So you can see it's not in here. It's actually searching everything. Or I can just go through here, just look around. Cooldown. Oh, here we go. Cooldown. Public for cooldown. So it looks like it's just cooldown. That's what the code name for cooldown is. And so then you'd refer to it as block.cooldown because the main file here is block. So you can see block has a cooldown thing. Let me search cooldown. Yeah, cooldown. This.cooldown. So this, when it says this dot, it means block because it's in the block. So it's block.cooldown, and then you can also do block.cd multiply or cd add for cooldown. So then what I'd want to do is I'd want to go to whenever you go to find the name for a line, you go and check to where it would be, and then after that you go to apply card stats right here. So then you can just search in here cooldown, and alright, you can see my cooldown multiplier, cooldown add, all this stuff in here, but we just want to look through all of them. Okay. So yes, you can see. I just want to go through here. Okay, yeah, you can see my cooldown multiplier, cooldown add, and all that stuff. That's all in here. So you always want to check if checking apply card stats. If the stat that you're looking at, for example, block and this, is in apply card stats. You can see it looks like it is, and you can see gun stats, or a lot of different stats in here are like I believe attack speed is. Let me just search speed in here. Movement speed, yes. Projectile speed, all that stuff. These are all very simple stuff to code because they're in apply card stats. So that's what you use DNSpy for. I'll get back to that soon. After you get DNSpy, you download Dependency assemblies. Go to blah 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 blah. Honestly, I've never really used that, but right here, I have it right here. I think you actually might use it to install something later. I forgot, but I don't really regularly use it. I don't know if it's just something to install, or if it's for something more advanced, like for coding modding behaviors and stuff. So find the mod assemblies in Thunderstore. Blah blah blah. Blah. Settings, locations, browse profile folder, and oh, yeah, that's right. So you have to go to settings and look. Go back to it real quick. Yeah, you gotta get this mod here. If you're gonna get one mod album, that one's necessary. Settings, locations, browse. Alright. You go here. So I have a specific directory in Thunderstore for my mod testing versus the one that I actually play with. Just that way it's not like super laggy. There are tons of other people's cards and stuff while I'm testing my mod. I have that set up in Thunderstore. So you go here and then put the next pact, and let me see what else it was saying. And that Dependency plugins. Alright, great. So yeah, this is just to get you familiar. Like, this is a folder that you're gonna need to go back to later. So that basically is how you're familiar with it. You don't really need to take action after you find it. But yeah, the assembly.dll is like for every mod are in here. So that. Alright, now you get Visual Studio. I already have it set up. So just okay. You only need a .NET desktop environment. So when you're installing it, there's an option. That like there's options to install different versions or whatever. That's the only one you need right there. And if you want, you don't have to pay money for Visual Studio. You can just get the community edition. That one's like the free one, I believe, or whichever one's the free one. I'm pretty sure that's the free one. And then after you start it, create a new project. So I would just press create a new project here. I would what? It's telling me. So you set wait. Class library. That's it. So class library. There are a couple class libraries. So you want the one that says C# here. This one right here. That's the one that you would want. And I'm actually gonna do it because I already have it set up here. But then after you do that, you just name it and set the location to your GitHub folder, the same spot. So if I were to go to GitHub, I have it set up in here with buds cards being right here. So I have everything like in this folder. And I also open desktop GitHub and set up that in case I ever do anything with that. I set it up in the same buds cards folder right here. So make sure you just set them all up in the same folder, so that way everything's just way easier that way. Oh yeah, and then there's gonna be a pop-up saying .NET Standard select 2.1. I believe like it's like set to like 3 something or less, but yeah, you need to change that to 2.1. And then okay, this is a pain. This is a real freaking pain. So what you have to do is you have to copy this. I'm just gonna not Control A. And then just copy all of that, and then I don't know if like I can't figure out how to download that thing. I couldn't find it anywhere. Right? So open up this text. Open up a new text document. Paste that stuff in there. Save and rename it .gitignore. And then remove the .text. Yes. There you go. There's your .gitignore file. So then after you do that, after you get that .gitignore file, just put it in the same folder. Not the GitHub folder, but your card name folder down below. Put it in that. I honestly don't even know what that does, but I've never not done it, and it seems like there's good reasoning for it. Oh, and then now open up GitHub Desktop and create a repository. Okay, so yes, you would open up GitHub right here, GitHub Desktop that you were supposed to download earlier, and yes, it's where it is. Okay, no, whatever, I don't care. So you would do file new repository, whatever. Set the name, set the description to be whatever you want. I honestly didn't do a description, and set it in the same folder as your as whatever it's called. Let me find it. GitHub and then your card name. I have my GitHub located in my names folder just because I access it so much. So yeah, I have everything in this folder right here. So then do that and then publish it right after. Yeah, there will be an option over here to publish it. Just press publish. And I don't know. Do not set a git. Oh yeah. There will be an option to set a gitignore. Just don't mess with it. Go back to Visual Studio and right click on Dependencies. Go over here. So basically, I don't know if after you download Visual Studio and you create the directory to be in GitHub / your card's name, then you'll have this thing over here, except you won't have all this stuff that I have. Instead, you're gonna have what? Let me see. Go back to right click on Dependencies. Oh, okay. So right now, yeah, we're setting the dependencies. So let's see. Visual Studio Dependencies. Right click and add project or reference, I believe. Yeah. And then you browse, and then you just select everything it tells you to here. So assembly C#, Unity Engine Core. So that stuff is in rounds. All of those first three, I believe, are in rounds data managed, and then after that it's and then click add after you select all of them, and then navigate to your BEP and expact folder. Okay, that's what it's for. That's what the BEP and expact. So then after that you go to games, to where you installed your BEP and expact 5, and then you select all the things I told you to right here, these two, and then select card choice, spawn unique card, blah 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 blah. So I believe those are in over here where it told you is it this? Settings, location, browse profile. Yeah, so it's right here where I was talking about earlier, settings, look. What I would just do is I would just go back to Thunderstore, and then what was it, browse profile folder, go here, BEP and expact, and then what did it say, plugins? Yeah, so then I'll just copy this directory right here. I'll press the arrow, Control C, and then go up here, paste it in, and then select all the DLL or all the DLLs that it tells you to. So it should be card choice, blah blah blah. So I'll do card choice. I'll do that one, and then the other two that it tells me. So then you press add and press OK. Let's see. Your final list, yeah. So then make sure it just looks like that, at least. Oh, and then one, if you're gonna add card art, this is something that screwed me up horribly, like horribly, because it didn't tell you to freaking do it. Add in, I think you need to add in these two. No, I think it's just this one that's missing. So Unity Engine.asset bundle module, add that one, and it's with the I believe it's with these three right here. Basically, that's gonna be if you're adding animated, or actually, I think just card art in general. It's really important that you have that. For me, I didn't have that. It took forever to figure out, and then once I figured it out, it caused so many issues. So you need to have that, but you don't want that. Later on, we're gonna make a dependency string here. Right here. Later on, we're gonna have dependencies here, and you don't add it in there. So that's just something that that's not in the document that really screwed me up. So I thought I'd mention it. That's the main thing that just prevented me from actually starting to make cards. It was horrible. But then yeah, you just create a new. You can click on this, right click, and where is it? Oh, here you go, add, and then you can. Did it tell you to make a new folder first? Oh, okay, so no, you don't even have that yet. So you're missing, what is it? You're missing this right here. You're missing that. So what you want to do is go up here, right click, add, and then new item, and then you just name it your mod.cs. So name Buds cards.cs, and then you can just stick with this. And then once you have that, you'll have this down here. And so you want to copy and paste this, so you just select all of that, paste it in, and then you change my mod namespace to what your mod's going to be named. Try to keep it consistent, like with everything, keep everything the same thing, so that way it doesn't like screw up for whatever reason. And then, yeah, of course, there are usually some errors here. Okay, I don't know. BEP and dependency. Oh, okay, so this is basically just telling you that BEP and dependency, it makes dependencies. But then plugin declares our mod. So it's basically just telling you what each thing does here. It's important that you read it, or not super important, I guess, but it explains it to you. It's important. It's useful to know what your mod, what each thing does, just that way you know. Yep. Okay. So here, you can actually look at Simply Cards thing for reference, but what I made the mistake of doing, where is it? I don't know. Make sure you just change all of those. Oh, so this, if you're wondering what this is, it's usually you're supposed to have like your website in like reverse order, so I just made up something random like com.smallability.buzzcards. But when you're filling these three out, or these two, I guess. Let me see. I made the mistake of a very silly mistake. If I could find it. Oh, okay. MyMod ID. No, not that. I don't know, actually. Oh, here we go. So it says Bepin plugin here, mod ID, mod name, version. That's like a template thing. Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. So I accidentally put my mod ID there, mod name here, and version here. I thought that was, well, that's what you're supposed to do, but you don't. You leave that blank, okay? I made the mistake of filling that out, and then it took me a little bit to figure out. So don't make that same mistake. So it says Harmony will be covered later. I don't ever see it later. Maybe they plan on making like more complicated modding tutorials. I don't know. But then your mod initials. So this is what it's gonna appear in the bottom left of each card. So I just do BC for Bud's cards. Make it something that people could tell is you. Okay, and you can always just change this, and it'll change it for the whole document as long as you do it right. So if I were to go to like a future card here, and I go to, where is it? Oh, mod initials. So it's budscards.mod initials, because buds cards is the name of the .cs file that has my mod initials, and it says mod initials equals and that. So whenever it needs to look at my mod initials, it's referred here. So I could change this to whatever I want and change everything in the whole document. Next, add the font property. Okay, so you add that to here. Wait. You add that right here. And then after that, start method at the following line. Okay, so add that right right here where it says void start. Add it right here right after. Now we can move on to the next section. So making a card template file. Just copy paste this into a new file here. Oh God, I can't ever. So yeah, make a new folder called cards, and then make a template file, and then just leave that as template, and then you can leave all this blank. It won't actually appear in game, and as long as you don't put in your CS file over here. But yeah, I just have a basic template here that says just like, and make sure you put your mod initials in and such. I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, you want to add these in, these 3 lines here, because it'll what's it called? It'll log whenever people get cards or cards are removed and stuff. Yep. Next we're going to add some debugging lines. Yep, add these 3 lines. How do each part break down? So read this. This will explain things very well. You're mostly never going to be using on remove card as long as you're not like coding like an actual mono behavior thing. Wait, let me see. And thus, no, that is. Yeah, only removal of mono behavior. So if you're gonna code like a specific thing, then this will be used for more advanced stuff. On add card, it's for like some things that just don't. Some setup card works with most things. Some things don't work with setup card, and you have to do on add card. That's basically it. And it tells you here once you use each one on this right here. But honestly, I don't know. I just learned essentially, like for example, if I were to go to Gunhammer here, most stuff is on add card or whatever. Like this will make it so you can only get one, and then this just your reload time, it increases it. But then if I want to reduce the bullet spread, it's kind of more of an obscure thing, and it's not located in apply card stats on DNSpy. So if I go to DNSpy, I don't believe it's located in here, meaning that it would have to be on add card rather than on setup card. So then I'd just put gun multiply spread times 0.2. So it reduces it by 80%. Alright, so then there's that. That's like when to use each one. That's important to know beforehand. Get title, pretty obvious. Get description, pretty obvious. Get card art, we'll do that later. Get rarity, common, uncommon, or rare. Those are the 3. I believe each have a capital letter at the beginning for them to actually work. I could be wrong. Get stats. Okay, yeah, that get stats is kind of important. You'll see. So get stats. Let's see. You have it down here. Every time you want to add a new one, you can just copy and do. Oh, no. Here, I would just copy that and then paste it right here. But I would have to add a comma right here. But I'm actually gonna do that. But you do that for each card, and just stat equals you just put whatever it would be. So bullet spread, reload time, whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. You can just name whatever you want. Positive is whether it be green or red. So a lot of times I see mods screw up and put the wrong one. So just don't forget to edit that. And then the amount is this part right here is like the amount, right? But it'll actually get affected by the color. The stat does not get affected by the colors. How it works in the default game, just how it is. And simple amount, honestly, I have no idea what that means. Never have touched it. I don't know the point. So yeah, there's that. And then yeah, theme. Oh yeah, that's kind of important too, for it to look right. But card theme, color type. So you'll know, you can just think of like any random card, right? And you think for like careful planning, right? That's firepower yellow. You can see firepower yellow. But like you can just kind of read the names of the colors, and you can tell what it's kind of used for. Nature brown would be like for healing and nature stuff. Firepower yellow, more firepower, and like for example fastball, careful planning, stuff like that. Cold blue, stuff that'll slow them down. Defensive blue, like tank, more health, block related things. Destructive red, explosive stuff, and I guess yeah, explosive stuff. Tech white, I don't know. This you can just look at that and use your judgment to see what you should do. That's basically just the card things, like the color of the outside. So let's see now. Get my name. One category. Is it? I think it's. Where is that? Get mod name. Honestly, I don't know. Just replace each thing with each thing. Like, pretty self-explanatory for this part. But like, yeah, it basically explains everything. So that way you just know what it means. Now, if that you want to just follow this guide here, it will walk you through making a card. So it's basically just going to tell you go to the end spy. So go to this part right here, and then go to block, and then it's going to do like on block. Right, sorry, block. What is it? Force to add. So force to add. That is a command. When you block, it adds force to your character to launch them. That is something that is in block. And then if I were to go to apply card stats, if I search force to add, you can see it's also in here. So I would do force to add XYZ, and then I would just go to the card here. If you actually want to see what I did with my card, I did that right here. I just did block.force to add minus 10F because that makes you launch away from your crosshair or wherever. And then I made it so it increases your health a little bit, and then block.cd add because that is a thing that's an apply card stats. Block.cd add. I don't think block.cooldown is, but block.cd add is. So it adds 0.25 seconds to your block cooldown. And in here you can go ahead and fill this out. You can also change if it's common or whatever. This you don't need to worry about. I have that, but yeah, you don't actually need it yet until you make it. So then I just do more health, block cooldown. So whenever it's a block cooldown or a load time, I put the actual second amount because that's what the default game does. Then for the rest of the stuff, it's kind of inconsistent, the default game. So I just make my thing consistent, and I always do more, less, a bunch more, a load more, a bunch less. Or sorry, wait. I think they use a lot less, and other weird things like that. You can always just refer to the default game's wording for it. But for like 1.5 times. Wait, why do I? It's only 1.2 times health. I don't know why it says more. It should be slightly more. I'm glad I realized that. But yeah, for 1.2, that's basically just 120% health. That's just plus 20%. So I'm gonna do slightly more, and block force to add. Well, I did add in like kind of a custom stat here, backpedal, and then I did more. It's not really an actual base game thing, but since it's like a custom, effect, I create like a little thing for it. But you can always describe it in the description. Or if it's something that doesn't really make sense, like backpedal, no one knows what that's gonna mean. So that's why it's important to just in the description that blocking launches you away from your crosshair. There you go. Alright, so now let's see. Yeah. They say to do plus 20%. I don't like that because it strays away from the default game's way of talking. Now go back to the core file. See that any if simply occurs is gone. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then it's always important. This will cause so many errors if you don't, but go up here and replace template with whatever name the card is going to be, including like the same name as the CS file. So now if you want to test it, all you have to do is just go up here to this thing right here, build, and then once it's done building, open up Thunderstore. Make sure there are no errors. There might be a few errors. Just try your best to work through them. I know it can suck if you don't know what you're doing, but once you can eventually like experiment, figure something out, right? So then you go to your Thunderstore, then Profile, and then import local mod, select file, navigate to where it says here. So you would just copy that directory minus the DLL file. You just copy it, and oh, actually no, right here, this whole thing right here. You copy that, and then you paste it in here, and then you select the DLL file. And then I select, well, I'm just going to do 1.0.0 and import local mod. You don't need to mess with all that stuff because you're going to be importing it over and over again. Like every time you make a change, you need to re-import it if you want to test it. So then it'll overwrite any other local mod and the same thing that you have. So I have that right there. And I can just do start modded and test it out. So local sandbox, and then I can just type in evasive, and it'll show up here. I already have card art for it. Normally you wouldn't have card art, but since I chose, okay, that's a mistake. This is actually my first card, so I just realized there's like 2 mistakes on it. But it's not defensive. Oh, is it defensive blue? I'd say it's a more tech white. Defensive blue makes sense. But defensive is tech white. I'm gonna make it tech white. Tech white would be a better color here. But yeah, so tech white would be the outside color here. I don't think defensive is defensive. But yeah, there you go. So that's my icon that I made a while ago, which is pretty technique. But then you can see once you want to leave the crosshair, and then select more health, pull down, and more back up. So if I select it, I can right click, and then it launches me. Launch me away from my crosshair. So you can see it works, and I can definitely notice my block cooldown is increased. So I don't really need to test that. And then my health, I can spawn in a bot with B. By the way, you spawn in with space. You can spawn in a bot with B, and then let it shoot you and look at your health. This is definitely more than default. If I get shot again, I could probably survive. Yeah. So that actually saves me from one. That saves me a whole other hit. Into the ground here and bounce up. So I'm gonna close this now, and then I mean, if you have any errors, you can always fix them. I mean, they're usually not too bad. But before you test it, you actually do need to go to your main CS file here and then add this line in. It'll be in the doc. I should have mentioned that before I went in to test it. But mostly just refer to this document here. I mean, yeah, just refer to this document here. It'll basically go over everything. That's how I did it. I'm just making this video because sometimes it can be difficult to learn. I mean, sometimes the wording's off, and you can it's nice to have a visual representation. And worst case, if you're really stuck and you have any questions, and I know the answer, I can always help you and answer your questions. So yeah, you guys can feel free to leave a question in the comments. I don't mind answering as long as I actually know the fix for it if I ran into the same thing, because I ran into a lot of errors. I made a lot of silly mistakes, so you guys will probably do better than me. Then after that, let's see. Oh, actually it might not work because you're gonna need this. If you don't get this mod, then yeah, you need that. So to publish the mod, it actually has a thing right here. You can go through it. You can actually look at my publishing a map mod video if you want it. to see reference for that, but it's pretty simple. All you do is you just go to, what is it? Let me find it. Oh, I have it in Thunderstorm mod storage. Buds mods, here we go. I have everything located here. So you're gonna need to have a README file like this, which you can just get from any other mod other than just edit it. And the manifest, which I have these in it. I don't know, I kind of just copied that from another mod because I think these are all the default things and I didn't use any extra dependencies, so those are all the dependencies that you're going to need. And then after that, you need to make an icon. So what I did is I just copied over the card art I had and then made it into a thing. I'm going to go over card art in a second, but and then you're going to need to take your DLL file that you loaded into this. So just go to settings, import local mod, select file, and you can just copy the directory. Same thing as the thing in here, and then after you do that, you copy the DLL and throw it down here, and then you can just run it. Select everything except for this. So select everything, right click, send to zip, and then you go to Thunderstore, rounds, Thunderstore, mods, and then make an account and then upload. Put the zip file right here. And then select rounds. You're gonna need to make a team. Just make the team what you want your profile name to be. I did Buds Apps and Buds Cards, which I realized that's what it shows like my profile name. It's weird. I would just do your profile name and use that for all your mods, personally. But it's up to you. It didn't really explain that to me until I did it. So yeah, make sure your game select to rounds. And I always just do gameplay and custom cards. Those are the two I do. And then you can publish it, and you know, you need a 256 by 256 image. So if you don't want to publish it yet, I don't blame you. Honestly, I don't want to publish things without card art because it just seems kind of like low quality. I always suggest making card art. It's more of a process for sure, but I'm actually gonna go to that real quick. This is a lengthy video, huh? Already 43 minutes. Jeez. But yeah, for each card you're gonna, well actually after you set this up, for each card it'll be easier and easier. But then you're gonna need to download a specific version of Unity, so go to that document, the other card art document, which I'll have in the description of this video. This one here, tutorial for card art, and basically just follow it, right? You need to download this version of Unity, which you can just get here, download it. Yeah, you set up a thing in 3D. Honestly, this setup part is pretty simple. Just, you don't need to do it in the same folder as everything else. I didn't. Honestly, it might be easier if you do. I honestly actually don't. It's up to you, but I personally wouldn't. Let me show you what it looks like. So let me go to my Unity folder right here. So this is everything. I end up like putting all my card art in here and stuff. So the rounds cards. Oh yeah, I have it as like a separate folder as Buds cards because it's just all my everything in general. So I wouldn't have this in the like you can have it in the GitHub folder, right? But I wouldn't have it in the actual Buds cards folder just because it gets really messy really easily. So then default cards, I'll put a link to this in the description, but I downloaded all the default card prefabs and then all the default images here too. They're really useful to use when making card art. But yeah, so basically after you get Unity, you need to set up a thing. I just named it rounds cards because yeah, all my cards are rounds. So copy this and then open up Unity. Rounds cards. So yeah, just set up a thing in whatever folder you want with 3D as it says, and then yeah, you can use our sample. Definitely use our sample card package, but also go to the description of this video and download all the default images and use that. It's very useful to do that. Make sure you stay organized in Unity. If you don't stay organized, it'll be horrible. But so then open up Unity, go to your thing, and then download their sample card thing, and then just open it, and then it'll open into Unity right here. And after you do that, where is it? Where is sample card? So we can just go to default cards here, and I have the sample stuff. yeah, so I can just delete this whole thing. Throw it in here. Oh wait, no, that's sample card. Here we go. So I just throw that in there, and then I unpack it. Always unpack it completely so it's not annoying later. And then you can just go down here, and then art. This is where all the stuff takes place here. That's all, like, all the stuff that we're concerned about. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna delete the circle thing here. So this is the background. You can actually play the animation here. If you don't have the animation tab, you can just go to Window and then Animation, and then do that. But yeah, so you can look at the animation stuff here. Okay, not that one. My bad. Where is it? Is it this? Where is it? Which one is it? I can't look at the animation. Is it that one? Okay, usually it would play. I can see all the animated things here. Like, I don't know why it's not right here. I'm just gonna delete this, right? Screw that. I don't want it. What I do want instead is I'm gonna go to the default cards here. So after you download, I just recommend you you take all this stuff and put it into your prefabs folder and a default cards folder. And I also have images with every single image in the game. Yeah, I recommend going to default cards here, and then let's say I wanted to make something for tech white, or actually no, let's say I wanted to do something firepower yellow. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do no. What do I want to do? Destructive red. That's what I want to do. So I throw that under card art here, and then I unpack it so I can actually edit it, and then I can just watch the animations here. So those are the default animations and stuff. And then after you do that, you're gonna want to here. Oh, actually, I forgot what I was I forgot. I was completely doing something. So you need to go to assets right here, or make a new folder, name it editor, and then create a new thing called like create asset bundles.cs. So that would be create, and then I think it's C# script, and then just paste that whole thing in there. It actually tells you to do that right here. That part's important, so it'll actually, like that, you need to do that to make it work. So then here, actually, I'll go over all this in a second. The first thing I would do is get like some image making program. I usually use paint.net. It's free. And then I do Control A and delete, and I would start making something, right? So I usually start off with black, and then I'll change it to white later, just because black's easier to see. So let's say I were trying to make well, you can actually just see all the things I made before. But let's say I want to make a grenade or something, right? I would actually take my time more and make it look good, but like, just think of the pineapple grenade, right? Oh, actually, I would want to fill this up more so we wouldn't have that line. But then on a separate layer, I would make the pin here, because I want to make an animation. So then for the main layer, I would just make the whole thing, blah blah blah. Grenade's like way better than this, but whatever. So there you go, that's my grenade. And then this is a separate layer which I can toggle on and off for the pin. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do Recolor, select that, and then change it to white, and then oh, not that, this layer right here, and change everything to white. Same thing with this layer. I'm gonna turn it back on, change that to white. So now I can do I'm gonna get rid of the pin here, then do File, Save As, save it to this folder, and I select PNG and I name it whatever card the name would be. So let's say the card's gonna be named Grenade. I'll do grenade.png, and then it would ask me if I want to compress all the layers on together. I say yes. So then it compresses everything together like that. Actually, but then it just deletes that, right? So now I do Control Z, turn that back on, turn the pin back on here, and then delete that or close that, and then I would save that as another file named grenade_pin, because I want this to be separate. I want the pin to be separate during the animation. So then I would save this files. Then I'd go to Unity. So for example, I already did this with my bolt action. So I have bolt action lever, bolt action shaft, and then bolt action exit, bolt, whatever. So I will actually show you what I did for the whole thing. I actually have it still saved. Actually, I'm going to start off with showing you a simpler thing. So with just one animation, right? So you can look at this whole thing here. I just took the default firepower yellow. Oh wait, I just realized there are two colors here. Oh no. I'm actually gonna, that's just another bug I discovered. That is like, it's not a super big bug, but it's just that the color is more condensed on this card than it should be. So I'm actually just going to save that real quick. I'm going to delete the original actual bullets, yes. I'm going to save that here, and I'm going to add it to the asset bundle. Alright, so this is the card that I'm going to be showing you here, actual bullets, unpack it. So this is the bullet right here. So to get something like that onto the actual card, you would just do game object, create empty, rename it to whatever you want, bullet or grenade or whatever it is. So I'm just gonna, I guess I just named it that on accident. Whatever, just do that, then select add component here, image, and then it's gonna say none sprite. So then you're gonna drag your picture into images here, into this images folder, which actually I think projects is by default gonna be down here, but I moved it up here. So then I would search for it. I guess I'll just pull it. Sorry, so yeah, so I have a bullet here. So then what I would do is, after selecting your bullet image, right click on it, or yeah, select it, not right click, and then go over here to texture type, make sure you select Sprite 2D and UI, and then it'll show up and look right again after you select that, otherwise it'll be weird and stuff. So then select that and go back to here, select it, and then drag this over to none sprite. So now you have this thing right here called green, and if I throw it into the background, for example, you can see it does this. So I need to zoom out because it's super big, make it smaller, and then go in here, and you can see that the image is now showing up. Now it's pretty weird and wonky, so I'm just gonna leave that alone for now. What I'm gonna do now is if I go to, I can drag this down, or what I want to do first is decide, do I want an animation? Okay, I know some people who make cards don't make animations. I personally think animations make it so much better, and I think animations are 100% worth it. Especially if you're gonna already go out of your way to make the card art, you might as well make the animation. So what you do is you go to animation here, create, and then go to your Unity directory file, go to assets, and then prefabs animation clip, and then just name it anim underscore the card name. So let's say the card can be named grenade, and then if I'm doing multiple things in it, I do like underscore what part is it. So I'm just gonna say bullet, right? But I'm actually gonna do that. But yeah, I'll do that, and then I'm actually just gonna be using this as an example instead. This bullet here. So I'm gonna delete that now. But this bullet here, this is the same exact thing as the other thing that we're just doing. So I'm just gonna make it, yeah, that's basically what we're at, right? And then I create a new animation file. So then you can add properties like rotation, anchor position, and scale, and then you can select record, and then select a new time frame, and then move it, and then it'll create a point right there. So if I were to watch the animation here, it would go from the default to where I just selected. I'm just gonna Control Z that. But yeah, you can do new time frames based off of you Control Z everything there. But yeah, you can do different time frames with scale and position. If you actually want to change the rotation, you can't just change the rotation here. You actually need to go to rotation, and then you can always just turn off recording whenever you're done recording or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna undo that. And then you can just change the rotation. So let's say I want it to be minus 90, right? There you go. You can do that, and you can make it so it changes the rotation here. So you can see. Let me just Control Z everything that I've done. I messed up a couple things by showing it. Alright, so I'm going to delete that and then move that back. I like to do it in background, or don't set it up in don't set the whole thing up in background. Select the file, just drag your game object to background here. So make the animation file, and then after you make the animation file, drag it down under a folder here where you have everything. Okay, under art. Don't make the animation up here. If you make the animation up here, it'll be all glitched out when you go down here, and you'll have to rearrange the position of everything. Or sorry, yeah. No, why is that? Control Z. Yeah, don't make the whole animation up here. I made that mistake too many times. Never make the animation up here. But at the same time, if you just go directly and move the game object under here, sometimes with the default card image, thing that I've been using. It's the only one out there. But what it'll do is if I make an animation file while it's still under here, it'll go and change this thing to also have an animation file, and then it'll be all glitched out, and then the whole card will make an animation, and then it'll be so screwed up. So just put your game object out here, make the animation file, and then drag it in. That's because it might not always do that, but sometimes it does. Specifically with like, I think the healing background card, the nature brown, it like always glitches out. So just, I don't know, just get in the habit of doing that so you don't run into that issue later. But then once you make then you go down here, make the animation, right? So you can see for this keyframe I have that. I have all these stats here, and then I move, and then over here I do that. So I just start off with having it small, and then I have it rotate in as it's getting bigger. That way, like, it looks like it's just popping in, right? Let me show you. So you can see how it looks like it's popping in. And then once I have it like sits. I have it like move slightly a little bit, and then it goes. Yeah, it just keeps rotating, and then it moves slightly, and then starts going back now. And then all this is right here. This part right here. This is just changing the position. And then you can see I have it go way quicker now, just based on the time frame. So this is a long time frame, and this is a short one, which is why it goes so quick. But it also gets bigger as it's doing it to make it look like, I don't know, to make a cool effect. And then it restarts. But don't make it immediately restart like I did here, because it doesn't look the greatest. Like, make it wait a second here. You can always zoom. Like, you can't always use this to make it like expand, but you can zoom instead with your middle mouse. So I'm just going to copy that here, and then do that. So I'm going to expand it by like 0.5 seconds, or 0.05 seconds, to make it last longer. Actually, I'll do it for 0.1 seconds. There we go. Now it looks a little bit better, because it doesn't instantly refresh. Try to keep them not super long, and not super short. Super short, it'll like look like it's just repeating the same thing, and it'll look poor. Too long, it's like no point. And then after I'm comfortable with that, right? So I'm just going to go to prefabs, actual bullets, delete that. Oh wait, control. Crap! I was trying to control Z. I just freaking deleted it. So if you can see my bullet's yellow, and I don't want it to look like that, I don't want it to be under the color here, I can just drag it in again. And there you go. Now it looks normal. And then I'm also gonna change that to be more centered. There we go. And now if I look at the animation, where's the animation? Oh, here we go, right here. Alright, good. I'm comfortable with that, so I'm gonna copy it down here. But if you're gonna do multiple animation, like I was showing you with the grenade pin, you just create another game object, create empty, and then name it like the grenade pin, and then another one with grenade, and you can just put them in here and animate them together. If you're doing multiple things though, this is really important here. If you're doing multiple images while you're animating it, you're gonna need to make this that way for the animation they end at the exact same time. Otherwise, it just immediately restarts here, and it just keeps going, and then over time, like let's say I have one that's 0.5 seconds, another one that's 1 second, or another one that's like 2 seconds, right? The 0.5 second one will repeat four times, or however many times, right? It's actually, it works different because there's 60, this goes by 60 points in 1 second. So if this is 50 points, if this ends at 50 points, and then I have another one that's 200 points, the one that's 50 points will repeat 4 times throughout the one that's 200 points. So it'll immediately restart. It won't wait for other animations to end before it restarts, if that makes sense. So if I were to have another animation, like that's 1 second here, and this here, and this one that ends at 2 seconds, it'll just keep repeating, and then over time, if they're not perfectly in sync, it'll just like look weird because the animations won't line up anymore. So just be mindful about that. So then after that, you can just rename this main thing here to C_the card name. By default, it'll be whatever this is, like BG underscore cold blue, or B in background, or whatever, like whatever you use for the background file here. Okay, so then once you have that, you can just drag it out here into your prefabs folder here. I have the prefabs very separate and everything here. And then after that, you just select whatever card you're gonna have. Let me make sure they're all okay. So this one doesn't have an asset bundle, so you can see asset bundles down here. You can just click on it, and then it says asset bundle none. Click on it, and then make a new one. Or if you already have one asset bundle, just make everything in the same asset bundle here. So Bud's cards art. That's what I have. Then after that, you go to assets and build asset bundles. If you don't have that option, it's because you messed up earlier when you made this editor file and then create asset bundles and you paste that in. You need to have that and for this to work before you can build asset bundles. So then once you do that, you can then, well here, actually let me just look and see if, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, you always need to press apply after you switch it to this. You always need to press apply. I don't remember what that was for. I've never ended up having to do that. I don't know. Animations, yep. Yeah, you can use that. Adding to your code. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much everything there. So then you build asset bundles, and then after you build asset bundles, let me close everything real quick. Let me go to Unity here, and then my directory, and then assets, and then asset bundles here. I'll create a new folder, it should, and then copy Bud's cards or whatever thing you have. The one that doesn't have an extension, so you can see this as meta manifest, blah 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 blah. If you don't have file extensions on, you can just look for the one that says file, and it has to be named your actual thing, not asset bundles, the actual thing. You see the one that says file, and the one that has no extension. So copy that, and then go over to your GitHub directory or your Visual Studio and GitHub directory, and then open it, and then go to assets embedded, and then paste that in there. And if it's already in there, just replace it. Of course, after you build asset bundles, make sure you build asset bundles in Unity first. So, and also make sure it's very important that you have all of these set to an asset bundle down here, all the same asset bundle. So yeah, there you go, they all are. Wait, why does this look strange? Okay, it doesn't. So, what you can also do to test it out is you can always just delete that here and then just drag it back in. Make sure everything's right. You don't need to unpack it for this, but just like look at the animations and make sure everything's right. And there's no way to, or to my knowledge, there's no way to look at multiple animations at the same time. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but that's just how it is. So. And then that's the background, the default background that I just used. But yeah, there's that. So I'm actually just gonna delete that, so that way it's ready for future stuff, and then save. So I'm gonna close out of that, and then I need to open up Visual Studio. Go to, I believe there should be a new folder called Assets Embedded. Actually, if you don't have an Assets Embedded folder, you need to create that before dragging the new one in there. Name it Assets Embedded. Case matters, I'm pretty sure. So then click on this, and then go down here, select Build Action, and then it says Embedded, and it should say like something C# or something. It should say some C# compiler or something. Select Embedded Resource. It's important to do that. Very important. And if you haven't already, it's important to add Unity Engine Asset Bundle module into your dependencies. It's in the same folder as I believe assembly C# and like a few other things. I don't know, but yeah, make sure you have that in there if you're gonna be using card art. Okay, it's very important. That's something that screwed me up. And yeah, so I guess I went over all this, adding dependencies, this stuff. I mean, I didn't go into super big detail, but I mean, you can kind of just like read it for exact details. Let's see. So then after you do that, after you make the thing, you are gonna need to go to. I created a new thing for this. You don't need to create a new thing. I do though, and then just type all this out. You don't need this for each card, or actually you do, but only for each card that you have an animation for. So just go to this and then type in that whole thing. That'll be actually in this. It'll tell you here. And then just replace everything that I replaced stuff with. So Bud's cards are, yeah, type of Bud's cards, all that stuff. And then this will be for each card. These are for every single card, this part here. So game object, and then the name of the actual thing. So just whatever you want it to be named. This is arbitrary, you can just make this up. and then this part matters. This is what you named it in Unity. It's case sensitive, so if you screw up, if you made a typo, it won't work. So I named it Same as Actual Bullets. Then I have it. Then I'm renaming it essentially to Actual Bullets Art. So then I'm gonna go to the Actual Bullets directory now, the card that I made earlier, and then I'm gonna go to this get card art. You should have it set to null at first. So then do assets dot actual bullets art. Assets is the file that is named right there. So then that should be everything. Oh, actually, yeah. For each card, you have to import it in here, and every time you make card art, you have to import it into here. That's essentially it. Now you can build. Every time you update the card art, you have to rebuild it in Visual Studio, and you have to re-import it in Thunderstore every freaking time. Very annoying, but you do. So I screwed it up. So yeah, you have to do that. It's really important though, otherwise you'll be like, what? Why isn't it working? I just added it. But then if I go here, so you see earlier I made a change, right? I just made a change. The yellow in actual bullets was too dense. And so I'm going to go test out if that is still the case. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it's a lot less dense now. Here. Oh. I spawned in a glitch name. But you can actually go grab the card now just by shooting it. Now I'm going to compare it to like Firepower Comics here. They all look the same to me. Actually, I think the color might be slightly off. But I think the color is actually slightly off just on its own because they aren't perfect recreations of the base game. Like all the backgrounds are handmade by what's his name? He put it in here. Let me find. Oh, whatever. It's fine. Someone handmade them in the community. Thank God. Thank God for them. Like that is the most useful stuff. Thank God for them. But yeah, then we can just go here. I'm just gonna go double check, make sure I don't have two colors here. Yeah, I only have one color, so everything should be set. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know, don't save. But yeah, there you go. Now you should be able to test it out. You'll probably run into some errors. There's no way that you're gonna do this flawlessly on your first time unless you're really familiar with this stuff. In that case, you probably wouldn't even need this video. But there you go. There's an hour-long video on how to do all this. It's a huge setup. Here goes an hour of my life making this video. But yeah, there you go. That's how you make it. And you're definitely gonna run into some errors, but try your best to figure them out. And if you have like any simple questions, don't get me wrong. I'm not a genius on this. Okay, I can't answer a crazy how do I make XYZ card. Just like if you're trying to set it up and you're having like a tiny issue or something, I can try to help you out. I usually respond quickly. Like if I don't respond, you can like comment again. To be honest, like if I don't respond for like a couple days, because if I didn't respond in a couple days, then I definitely missed it or something. I usually respond definitely within like a couple days. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If I miss anything in this video, there's probably gonna be something I missed. I'll put it in the description. And but yeah, that should be everything. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I helped you out. I hope you're gonna make some nice cards. And yeah, please make high quality cards. Don't be one of those people that makes like those crappy cards that are just like boring. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.